Okay, so yesterday we have discussed about some of the how to manage the data pane. So we have discussed on how to maintain the data columns in Tableau. So today we are going on and some of the default properties. So we have been discussing about how to put the default properties for measures and dimensions. So we have started for measures. So today we'll continue for dimensions as well. So after completing that, we'll start session 8. Okay. So I'm just connecting to the sample superstore database. So here I'm gonna, let's see. So yesterday we have seen how to manage it by, so by default, whenever we connect to any data source, so it will segregate the data based on the tables. So it has 3 tables. So it has 3 tables. That is why it is pointing to the, so it is segregating based on the tables. So if you don't want to segregate based on the tables and you want to segregate it based on the folders. So you can create multiple folders. Let's say ship date, ship related information, you want to keep it in one particular folder. So in this particular data, I have only 20 columns. So it is very easy to understand, or I can see the number of columns, or I can see the list of columns. But when you go to the real-time data, you might be having hundreds of columns. And Tableau has a limitation of accepting only 255 columns. So it can handle only, or it will allow only 255 columns. So let's say if you go to your if you go to organization in real time, you will be seeing almost like 255 columns you might be seeing. So you have to arrange in a proper way so that you can understand which column to pick for creating the visualization. So for that purpose, you can maintain folder structures. So you can create folders, go to folder and create folder, and you can maintain ship related information. Like this, you can maintain folders and you will open that folder only instead of going into each and every column. So you can go to the folder and you can see the information. So this is just for developer purpose. So this is nowhere related to the users and clients. So basically Tableau will automatically set it based on the data source table. But if you want to maintain by folders, you can do that by clicking on this option, and later you can create the folders. And when you go to group by data source table, here you won't be able to create the folder structures. Let's say if I select here, so this folders will not be enabled. So folders will be enabled only when you go here and select group by folder. So when you want to group based on the folder, then only you can select, or then only that folder option will be enabled. So there are 2 options where you can manage or maintain the data. So maintain the data in this format. So one is grouping based on the table, grouping based on the folders. So this we have discussed yesterday, and we have started discussing about properties, default properties. So whenever I drag sales or any measure into the field, so by default there is one function being used. If you want to change, you can change it later. I can convert it to average, or I can convert it to any other aggregation function I want to. But by default, let's say you are using, every time you are using it as an average only. So change the default setting. So every time, let's say I'm going to use sales as an average. So I will go here, go to default properties, go to aggregation, and I'll make it as average. So whenever I drag that particular sales into the row shelf or any into this workspace, so every time it will come as average only. So that is what is default settings. So if you change it here, so every time it will come as a however we have selected in the properties. Later we can change it. We are just changing the aggregation how it is. So later also we can change it, but we are just changing the default property. So whenever we start using that, we can change it over here. So that way we have seen how to change the so commenting is also available, which gives the description of what it is. So this is a KPI, which is key performance indicator. So based on this, I will be able to understand how my business is performing. So I can give that type of description. So when you hover on that, you can see that information as a comment. So you can also comment in this default properties. So color is, we have seen. So we have, let's say if we are using to represent the colors. So to represent the value of the sales, we might be using the intensity of the color. So let's see how we can use that. So let me take subcategory and sales. And I'll use a bar chart and sort it and swap the rows. Okay, so it is by default, I have set it as average, but I want sum. So later I can change it. And I want to see so the length of the bar is proportional to the value of the sale. And I also want to see based on the intensity of the color. So what I will do is I will control select this sum of sales and put it in the color marks card. So now it will be showing the value of the sales by seeing so it is representing with the intensity of the color as well. So if you see, the intensity of the color is more for this two vertical bars. So if you see, the other bars are very less intensity. So based on that, we can understand. So these are the high values. So the color which is selected is blue color. So blue gradient is selected over here. So that is coming as by default. So I can change that to a different color. So instead of blue color, I can change some brown color. So and whenever I use this sum of sales into color marks card, so it will show this brown color. So I can change that property. So that is for color and number format. So number format is basically, so it is showing you normal $150,745. So it is not showing any decimals or any dollar symbols. So you can specify that format. So whenever you drag sales and whenever you show labels, it will show in that particular format. So let's say I want to show in units. So K, when you do K, it will divide with 1000 and it will show K. So prefix I want to keep dollar. Say okay. So prefix dollar is coming and it is dividing the entire value. So earlier it was $150,000 was there. So 150,000 divided by 1000. So 1000 is replaced with K. So that is why the value will be divided with 1000 and it will automatically show you K. Likewise, we can show millions and billions as well. So if you go to, you can show the million format and billion format as well. So you can select, let's say millions. So it will divide with million and it will show you. So that's how we can represent and we can change the formatting properties for measures. So that is for number format. And we have also discussed for total using. So total can be represented. So let's take sales. So I'm just taking sales and making it as sum. And I'll take subcategory. And I will also take category. So I'll just show tabular chart. So let me change the properties. So I don't want to show the millions. I'll go here, go to the default properties, click on number format. Instead of this, I'll put it as automatic. So I can see just the number. Okay, so with this, I can see the values, but here I want to see the total. So what is the total for the whole thing? So it is 23,26,534. But that information I want to see it in the bottom. So for that, there is an option called go to analysis, go to totals, click on show column grand totals, which will show you the total. But I also want to show, or I also want to see the total of furniture as well, total of office supplies and total of technology. So for that, what I will do, I'll go to totals, click on add all subtotals. Okay, so it's basically showing you the total of all these values. So what is in furniture, I have 4 subcategories. The sum of all 4 subcategories is what? $754,748. So that's what I can show here. And this is based on the sum. So it is just doing the calculation based on the sum. Sum is nothing but adding all the values. So now let's see. I don't want to do the sum or the total based on the sum. I want to do total based on the average. So to do that, let's click on this, click on default properties. So total using, so it is automatically taking sum as an aggregation. So instead of total, I will take average. So average meaning, so let me drag it again. Take sum. Okay, so it is basically, it is taking the average of all these 3 values. So let me just show you in Excel. So I'll just copy this thing, Control C. I'll paste it in Excel. So it is basically taking the sum of all these values divided by 4, which is 1,88,686. So you can see it in the right bottom. So here it is showing you, or I can show you here. So average is nothing but sum of all these values divided by 4. 4 is the number of items or number of rows, which is $188,686. So that is what is Tableau exactly showing. So it is just showing based on the average. So likewise, it can also do for minimum. So total based on the minimum, total based on the maximum also can be done. So let's change the properties. Change it to minimum and drag it again. Okay, so in this 4, whatever is the minimum value, that will be shown. So comparatively, this is the minimum value. So that is what it is showing. So in this office supplies, whatever is the minimum value, that is showing. So 8532 is the minimum compared to all the subcategories. So same way we can do for maximum as well. So it will calculate based on the maximum. The total will be calculated based on the maximum. So drag it again. So the default property is when you take it from the starting. Yeah. So this will show you the maximum value. So this is what what we have discussed yesterday. So these are all the measure default properties. Default properties. So now let's discuss about dimension properties. So let's take any dimension, category. So category, you see furniture and all. So in this also we have an option to comment. So what this uh, particular field says. So we can just give the description about this is a category. Under this we'll have subcategories. So you can give some description to understand. So let's say you are developing a dashboard. So in organization it will be like this. Your work might be transferring to other people. So if you give some description about the columns, so it will be self-explanatory. It will be self-explanatory so that everyone can understand the dashboard which you have shared. So it is better to keep the comments if you have any. So even if you write some calculations, let's say if you are writing sum of profit divided by sum of sales. So this is some calculation that I have written, which gives the profit margin. Okay, so in the description you can mention, or in the comments you can mention this is calculating the profit divided by sales, and which columns to be used. Let's say you can calculate for categories and subcategories. So you can give some brief introduction about this, how to use and all those things. You can, if you want to give some comments about that, any certain things that you want to make it as a note, so that it will be helpful for the other developers. So it will be self-explanatory. So it is better you add the comments for that. Okay, so now let's try the color. So what is color? So when do we use this color? So let's say sales. So it is by default coming as an average. So let's change this property. Okay, so I'll click on this. I'll use this bubble chart. So each and every category is represented with a different color and different sizes. So size depends on the value of the sales. If you see, technology has bigger circle compared to other categories. Okay, so now it is coming with a default color. So we can change those colors. So it is coming in blue, orange, and red colors. So I don't want those colors. If I want some different colors, I'll put brown, pink, and these colors. So whenever I use this, I'll take one more sheet, categories, sales. So now if I click on this bubble chart, so it will be coming as this one. So by default properties, if I change it, so instead of getting the colors, so we will get these colors. So instead of getting orange, blue, and red colors, so we can change the default properties. So now let's see the other properties. So shape. So shape is nothing but, so if you use shape here, okay, so each and every category is coming in same color or same shape. So if I put category in the shape marks card, so each and every category will be assigned with a different shape. You can see furniture is circle, office supplies is square, and technology is plus. So this is coming by default. So I can assign some different shapes I can assign. So every time it is coming as circle, square, and plus. So instead of that, I will assign some different signs. So I'll use this. Furniture, I will use up arrow. For office supplies, green one. For this one, I will use this one. Okay. So now if I go to sheet 8 and take category and sales and use this one and change it to shape and put category into shape. Okay, so now it is giving you some different shapes. So this is how we can show or we can change the properties of dimensions. So let's take, there is one more option to sort. So by default, whenever you drag, so it will be sorted based on the alphabetical order. So instead of sorting it alphabetical, just a second. Yeah, sorry for that, got a call. Yeah, so we are discussing about how to sort it. So by default settings are to set the alphabetical order. So I don't want to, let's say if you don't want to see it in an alphabetical order, so you can change the sorting order. So descending, so it will be opposite of alphabetical order. So it will start from Z to A. So if you put, so that it will be like this. So normally it will be A to Z. If you use descending, it will be Z to A. So this way we can change the sorting. And also we can use some other ways. So click on this, click on sort. Okay, so there are many options in alphabetical order, ascending or descending. Ascending meaning A to Z, descending meaning Z to A. and you can use manually also. So manually, if you want to specifically put office supplies on the top, technology bottom, like that, so you can do manual sorting as well. So with that, we have completed default properties of measures and dimension. And we have also discussed about how to align the data pane. Okay, so this is what is data pane. So we have also discussed how to arrange this data pane. So that is only for the developer related. So you can sort it based on the group by folder and data source table. So now let's move on to the other topic. Now let's move on to the other session. So with that, we have completed this, how to set the default colors, default sorting, default shapes and all. So any questions from this session before we move on to the other session? Okay, then. Okay, so let's continue to the next topic. So in this session, we are going to discuss so there are dimensions and measures, and there are blue pills and green pills. So we are going to discuss that. And so as we have started creating the calculations in our previous session, so we have discussed about how to create the calculations. So today I'm going to discuss some of the other functions on how to create the calculations, how to use those functions in real time. So we will discuss that. So how to create hierarchies. So hierarchies is very important topic in Tableau. So with this hierarchies, we can do drill down and drill up. So we can see the data from higher level granularity to lower granularity. So I will tell you what is granularity. The granularity is nothing but the total value. So depending on the dimensions that you use, so the granularity will reduce. So now let's see. So if I go here, if I take an example of country, and I want to see sales. So this is what I can see. So it is actually the value which is there, the total sales value, 23,26,534. It is how it is getting separated in two different countries. So the total value 23 lakh is distributed, or we are getting those 23 lakh from these two countries. So 29,000 is coming from Canada and 22,97,000 is coming from United States. So I want to more drill down. I want to drill down more. I want to see how this 22,97,000 is coming. So what are the states which are involved in this? So United States is a country. So in that country, I will have the states. So I want to see what are the states which are contributing to get the 22 lakh amount of sales. So if I put one more column here, so I should be able to see how that 22,97,000 is coming. So based on these states, I'm able to see, or I'm able to calculate total of 22 lakh. So let's go to totals and click on show column grand totals. So this total is coming. So we have changed that. Let me change it to, so go to default properties. So total using, we have to do it based on the sum. So it is showing you this maximum. So change it to sum and take the sales again. Okay, so this 23,26,534 is coming based on this state. So as we are getting this amount of sales from different states, so as a total, we are getting 23,26,000. So like this, I can drill down more. So I can take one more step down. So I want to see cities. which cities are contributing this sales. So I'm going one more level down. So this is called as drill down. And drill up is nothing but, so if you remove these cities and all, so this will be like drill up. So you are able to see that 23 lakh is coming from these states and all. So it is just showing you the drill up process. So now let's see how we can do that. So this is a process. As a developer, we can do that. So removing the fields, adding the fields. So this is a developer can do that. So by using this hierarchies concept, user also can drill up and drill down. So now let me show you how a user can drill down. So this is already been created as an hierarchy. So this country region is already been created as an hierarchy. So if you see this symbol, so the symbol that you see here, yeah, so the symbol that you see here, this is called as a hierarchy symbol. So that means hierarchy is being created for all these columns. All these columns, hierarchy has been already been created. Okay, so let's see. Before I show how to create a hierarchy, I'll show you what all a hierarchy can do. So I have dragged only country column. I have not dragged any other columns. I also have region, state, city, postal code columns. So how a user can interact with this drill down and drill up. So let me put it in presentation mode. So user can see this expand and collapse buttons. So this is a expand button now. So now I want to expand. So it will expand to one level where you can see regions in that Canada and regions in United States. I want to drill down more. So click on this. So user can also click on this. So you do not need to remove fields or add fields. So user can click on this and he should be able to drill down. So I want to see what are the cities under states. So click on this. So you can see in Quebec you have 2 cities. In Alberta you have 2 cities. Illinois has some 20 or 30 cities. So like this you can drill down, and it's basically, so the 23,26,534, whichever total amount is there, it is being contributed by all these states, cities and all. So you can see those contribution based on drilling down. So that is the option, that is a concept that is available in Tableau, where you can drill down and drill up. So till here you can drill down, and this is a collapse button. So you can collapse. So postal code values 1764 plus 167 is giving you Winnipeg. So when I collapse, so it will be combined. So the total is actually, it will be around 19 something. So 1900 something. So let me collapse. So you can see 1931. So it's you are basically doing a drill up. Like this, you can drill up till, you can also click on this collapse button here. So it will drill up till country. So you can see the values till country. So this is how a hierarchy can be used. So user can drill down and drill up like this by using this expand and collapse button. Okay, so that is what is the option available. So you can do drill down and drill up by using expand and collapse button. So now I'll show you how to create this. So how this hierarchy has been created. So now I'll remove this from hierarchy first of all. So I'll just select all these columns. So this will not be appear, I mean this expand collapse button will not appear if I remove this from the hierarchy. So right click on this, go to hierarchy, remove from hierarchy. So I'm just removing from this hierarchy concept. Okay, so now let's see. Now I'll drag country into the worksheet. Now if I drag country into the worksheet, so now I will not see that expand or collapse button. Okay, so that is not getting highlighted. So that option is not available right now. So I will show you how to create hierarchy. So right click on any dimension. go to hierarchy. You can add to the existing one, or you can create a new one. Here I want to create a new one. So I want to name it as location. Okay, I have added only one column right now. At this point of time, I have added only one column. If I want to add another column, right click on this, click on hierarchy. So I already have created a hierarchy. So I want to add to the existing hierarchy. So it will show the all the hierarchies available. So I'm going to add to the location. Okay, so country and region, it has been added. Now I'm going to add the next one, which is state. So right click on this, add to hierarchy, click on location. Okay, so not only like that, so you can just drag and drop in that folder. So next one, I'm going to take city. So you can just drag and put it over here. So you can see the line coming. You can drop it there. So it will come and settle over there. So that way you can add. So postal code. So there are two options that you can do. So one is you can go here, go to hierarchy and add to the existing hierarchy. Or otherwise you can directly drag and drop in that particular folder. So you can just directly drag it here. And this order is mandatory. So you should know. So we know that states combining together makes a country. So this is a normal concept that we know. So cities will have, I mean, in states we will have cities. In cities we will have postal codes. So this is an order that we follow, or this is an order which is there. So in countries we'll have states. So you have to keep in this order. So this is a normal generic concept or fundamental rule that we need to follow. In countries we'll have states, in states we'll have cities, in cities we'll have postal codes. And I will also give you another example for a hierarchy. So you should keep in this order itself. So let me tell you organization wise, organization hierarchy. So for any organization, you will have CEO, COO, vice president or president, and then vice president, senior managers, associate managers. Under associate managers, you will have tech leads. Under tech leads, you will be having the last employees. Okay. So this is the order that we need to follow. So at last you will have the employees. So in this criteria, you have at last you have the postal code. So that is the order that you need to follow. So what happens if you don't use the proper order? So I'll tell you that. Before telling you that, so let me show you how this is working. So I have added to the hierarchy. So now I have this expand and collapse button. So now if I see sales value, so I can drill down like this. So this is how I can drill down, and this is how I can drill up. So user also can do that. So by clicking on this, he can drill down and he can drill up. And what if you change the order? So if I change the order, let's say cities, I'm keeping on top of state. Okay. So instead of state coming starting, so after city, states will come. So which will not be a proper order, which is not fundamentally correct. So after region, you are getting city. After city, you will get state, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, so first you have to get state. In the state, you will be having the cities, but in the cities, you will not have states. So that is not a proper order. So this order is you have to properly maintain this order. So you have to be fundamentally correct. So you maintain like this. So it has to be in this order: country, states, cities, postal codes. So you have to maintain this. So that is a reporting tool fundamental rule. Yeah, so that's about hierarchy. So let's move on to the next topic. So dimensions and measures, blue and green pills. So we know the difference between dimension and measure. And there is one more concept called blue pill and green pill. And green pill. Okay, so this is nothing but continuous, and this is discrete. So blue pill is nothing but discrete. So what are these pills? So what is blue pill and what is green pill? So whenever I drag any item into the row shelf or column shelf, let's say I'll take an example of category. So I can see a blue color pill. So this is called as pill. So this is in blue color. And there is a definition that why is it in blue color? And if you take sales, okay, sales is in green color. And why is it in green color? So are dimensions be green in blue in color every time, or measures be green in color every time? So we need, I'm going to tell you why these colors are appearing and when to use discrete and when to use continuous. So we are going to discuss that now. So most of the dimensions, so I'll tell you based on the dimensions. Most of the dimensions are blue pills. Why? Because these are descriptive and text mode. So it will show you discrete values most of the time. So by default, whenever you drag any dimension, take any dimension, like say category, subcategory, so it will be in blue in color. Okay, until unless you use some aggregation. So let's say if you are using some aggregation, so you are taking the count distinct. Okay, so then you are using it as, then it becomes a measure, and then it becomes a value. So when you are taking count, it is becoming numerical. Okay, so that is the point where it will be converted into green pill. So until unless you convert into some function, so until unless you use some aggregation function, it will be normal dimension only. So most of the dimensions are blue in color. Blue pills. Blue pills nothing but they are in discrete mode. That means they are in discrete mode only. Only one dimension without using any aggregation function. Will be green in color, green pill, and in continuous mode, only one dimension, one type of dimension. Can anyone guess what that dimension is, which will be in green color? So that is date. So date is the only dimension which can be in continuous mode. Okay, so there is an option called continuous. So discrete and continuous. So if you take another dimension, let's say category, any other dimension, so right click on this, that option is not available. So you cannot see continuous or discrete option. You can't change it to continuous or discrete. So date is the only dimension where you can convert it to discrete and to continuous. And what is the difference between discrete and continuous? So let me show you. So if you see the numbers that you can see here, so that are showing individual numbers that you can see. So basically it is showing you year of ship date, and you can see each and every year. So that is discrete. So you can see specific values or specific values in text mode. Let me change it to continuous. So when you convert into continuous, you will be getting an axis. Okay, so you can see the axis, you can see how the graph is flowing. So to create some charts, so continuous mode, to create some charts, some charts like line or bar or blended axis, blended chart. So like this, if you want to create some charts, you use continuous mode. So when do we use blue pills? When do we use discrete mode? So if you want to show the data in tabular format, so let's say if you want to show some data in tabular format, then you can use this. Okay, so you can show exactly what it is, 2020 like this. So if you make it continuous, so you can use some line charts. Okay, so here you can get the axis, and there also you can get the axis. So that is what is the importance of this discrete and continuous. So now let's see in the measures. So this is about dimensions that we have discussed, as date is a dimension. So now let's see what a measure can do. So measures can be discrete and continuous. Okay, so in dimension, only one type of dimension, which is date. Only date dimension can be discrete or continuous. But in measures, all measures can be discrete or continuous. So we can convert into discrete or continuous mode. So I'll show you in the PPT. Because this is how it looks like. So we have green measures and dimensions, blue measures and blue dimensions. So continuous is nothing but forming an unbroken whole without interruption. Discrete meaning individual, separate, distinct values. So it will not have any axis. But in continuous mode, it will be like an axis. You will be having an axis which you can create some charts. So now let's see in sales and profit, in sales and any other measure. So by default, whenever you drag any measure, so it will be creating an axis. So you can see green pill coming. So whenever you see green pill, that is nothing but a continuous mode. So you can see it here that continuous mode is automatically selected. So what happens when you select discrete? So you can see the distinct value, the exact value of that 23,26,534. So let's say if you use country, so if I want to show the sales value, so I can just directly see the value here. What if I use it here? So it will be showing an axis. With that, I can see some graphical representation. So when you have it in this mode, when you have it in the continuous mode, so you can see the graphical representation. So you will have the axis. So according to that axis, what is the value that Canada has? So 0 to 29,333. So it will be creating a bar chart based on that. In the same way, whatever is the United States value, 2297201. So it will be showing a bar length. So with that, we can create that. So what if you convert into discrete mode? So it is showing you that value 29,333. So ABC is highlighted here. So it is also showing Canada value here, but without axis. So for most of the measures, we should have it in continuous mode. So to create some this type of charts. So these types of charts are being prepared only because of this continuous mode. Okay, but there are some times when you require the data in discrete mode also. Okay, so if you want to show the numbers side by side like this, so you can keep it in this format. So you can take measures side by side and make it discrete mode. So individual values, individual discrete values will be shown here. So here you are not representing any visualization, as you are willing to show only the numbers, exact numbers. So then you can keep it in discrete mode format. So basically, so in the starting, we have discussed about blue pill and green pill. So blue pills are nothing but discrete mode is nothing but a blue pill. All the discrete values will be in blue in color. All the continuous values will be in green in color. So there can be, so measures also can be continuous and discrete. All measures can be continuous and discrete, but in dimensions, only one date dimension. So date type of dimension is the only one dimension which can be continuous and discrete. Other than date dimension, if you take any category or subcategory or any dimension, you cannot convert it as a continuous mode. So that will be static, or that will be restricted to have only in discrete mode. Why we have continuous option in order date is, so in date we will have a lot of options. In date we can convert it to year, quarter, month, day. So date is like a flow. So timely changing item. So that will have a flow. But if you take category or subcategory, that doesn't have any flow. It's just like a descriptive value. So it cannot have a flow. Even if you take sales or any measure, it can have a flow. So at one point of time there is a value $200. At other point of time you have $300. So it is increasing, decreasing. So you can see a flow over there. So that is the reason measures can be made as continuous and discrete. Based on your requirement, we can change it to discrete or continuous. So this is very important topic where you should know what is discrete and what is blue pill, green pill, and when you have to convert it to continuous mode and when you have to convert into discrete mode. So this is very important to know what is discrete and continuous. Okay, so that is about blue pills and green pills. So let me ask you a few questions. So before I proceed to the other functions. So in the next topic, I'm going to discuss about some of the functions in Tableau, how to write that in the calculation field. So Bhaskara, can you tell me category, a dimension, can it be blue pill and green pill? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you. Nazrin, can you tell me whether ship date, so can it be discrete and continuous or only discrete? It is a dimension, but only date is the only type of function, only type of dimension which can be in discrete and continuous. Other dimensions cannot be continuous, correct? Okay. Rajesh, can you tell me, let's say sales. So in what all forms it can be? What all modes it can be? Okay, Rakib, can you try in what all modes a sales measure can be? When I say modes, discrete or continuous? Yeah, so it can be in both modes. So we can convert into discrete and we can also convert into continuous mode. So this can be a blue pill and also a green pill. Okay, so Vishwajit, what is blue pill? Blue pill, in which mode we will have blue pills? Okay, Nazrin, can you tell me in which mode we'll have blue pills? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Rakib, can you tell me in which mode we'll have green pills? Yeah. So that is about blue pill and green pill and discrete and continuous. So now let's move on to the functions. So in functions, we have different type of functions: number functions, string function, date functions, type conversion, logical functions, and aggregate functions. So most of the calculations we will be using if else statements and case statements. So in this two type of calculations, so these are the two types that we follow, two types of calculations. And with the combination of the functions. So there are multiple different functions which are available. So with the combination of functions, we are gonna create the calculation field. So we'll have different functions: number, string, date, type, logical, aggregate, user, table, calculation, and all. So let's go one by one. So let's start with number. So we have discussed about ABS function, which will not consider the sign of the value. And we can also find the trigonometrical calculations, a cos, a sine, so if you want to find out some value. So you can use those trigonometrical things. And we have also discussed about ceiling, floor, so which will do the mathematical rounding. So in rounding, we can tell Tableau that to take the highest integer every time by using ceiling function. So if you can see this example, so basically when you do 3.14 mathematical rounding, so it will come as 3, but according to ceiling function, so it will be taking the highest integer value, so the greater value it will take. So cos, cot, degrees and all will give you the values of it. So we have, so these are all divisions. So instead of this divisions, we use direct divisions like sum of sales divided by. So this will also give you same division kind of values. So let me show you how to do division. So sales and profit. Okay, so now I'm able to see the profit value and the sales value. So I want to find out the profit margin. So how much is the profit that I'm getting? So let's say if I have a product A and I have the product A value is some 1,000 rupees and I'm selling it for 1,200 rupees. And what is the profit that I'm getting? 200 rupees. So if I want to know what is the percentage of profit that I'm getting, percentage of profit. So if I do sum of profit divided by sum of sales. So this will give me the profit margin. So that means I can know what is the percentage of profit that I'm getting. So here in this case, I'm gonna do 200 divided by 1,200. So let's do 200 which is giving me 0.16, meaning it is 16.6 percentage. So basically it is 16.66 percentage profit that I'm getting. So how to calculate the same thing? So I have got 23 lakhs of sales, and in that total sales, I'm getting a 292,297 profit. So for that, what I will do, I will write similar calculation, which is sum of profit divided by sum of sales. This is nothing but the percent of profit. Say okay. So it is showing as 0. So there are decimal places. Okay, so it is showing you 0.125 and all. Okay, so actually, so when we do this, so it is 200 divided by 1200, which is giving you 0.16 as note. But if I want to see the percentage, you have to do multiply with 100. So in the same, it is same for Tableau also. You have to do multiply it with 100. So instead of multiplying it with 100, so there is a direct option which is available in Tableau. So if you click on percentage, so this 0.12 will be multiplied with 100, and a percentage will be used as a suffix. So let's see. I'm just clicking on this. So you can see it is converted into percentage, and here you can specify the decimal places that you want to show. So basically, in the total amount of sales, I'm getting this much of profit. So I can say that I'm getting 13% of profit. So that is what a calculation can do. So let's discuss about some other calculation functions. So let me open this. So you should not be using this div function. So div will give you, let's say div of 11 comma 2. So it will divide 11 by 2, and which will be 10.5, sorry, 5.5. So it will show you the integer value. The output will be integer. So it is rounding off to 5. So exponential. So if you want to find out the exponential of some value, let's say e to the power of 5, you want to find out. So you can enter that value. Go to new worksheet. Say apply. So here you can see that e to the power of 5 value. So that's how we can find out the e to the power of 5. And floor we have discussed in the previous session. So which will every time take the lesser integer value. So even 3.1415 is actually mathematically also it is 3 only. Let's say if you take an example of 3.99 also. So according to floor, it will take the lesser value. Instead of taking the mathematical rounding, it will take the lesser value. So x bin x is also mathematically trigonometric values, ln, logarithmic. So max and min. So it will find out the maximum value in it. So let me say, so let's say max of sum of sales. So you can use only one aggregation at a time. So max of sales, they apply. So if you take normal sales, which is 23,26,534. But if you take this max, which I have written, so it is showing you 22,638. So what is this value which is coming? So if you go to data, if you go to sales, okay, so you have so many numbers here for each and every product that a customer purchased. So that amount is written over here, and I'll just do sorting. Okay, so the maximum value, so the maximum purchase that happened, 22,638. 638. So 22,638 is the maximum value which is available in the entire data. So that is what it is showing. So max of sales, when I wrote that, so in all the rows in 10,000 records, whatever is the maximum value is available, so that is what it's been shown. So if I change it to minimum, so it will show you the minimum value which is available. So let me show the decimal places also. Click on format if you want to show the decimal places. Yeah. So let's go back to our data. So in the entire data, so it is showing you the minimum value. So this is the minimum value, minimum purchase a customer made. So in all 10,000 rows, what is the minimum value? What is the maximum value? If you want to find out, you can use max or min. Okay, so with that, we have completed today's session. Session 8 is also completed. So any questions from today's session? Okay. Okay, then thank you all for joining. We'll continue tomorrow. Yeah, thank you.